interview.
Let me be specific. Did Mr. Kendricks tell you that he did not remember what day did you interview him? Did you indicate in your report, reflect in your report, what day you interviewed him? Did Mr. Kendricks, did you ask him where he was or what he was doing on January 10th? And did he reply he couldn't even remember that day?
No, I'm not going to allow that. And you said yourself you think you can maybe ask that through another witness. So ask it through another witness, because that's more the type of thing you should ask on direct.
Okay.
Then redirect.
No problem. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Kendrick.
What did I say?
There's no S at the end.
Okay.
No S at the end.
No S at the end.
Okay. Anything else before we get this witness back and the jury back? Are you about to wrap up with this witness? Okay. And then how long is your next witness going to be?
I'm trying to see how fast they can actually get here. Our next witness was one we have on that list.
So you don't have another witness here and ready to go, even though I have said over and over and over and over again to have your next witness ready to go?
Even though our best efforts have been made to make that happen, the person, I'm not going to represent that they're not. I just want to find out where they are before I say something different.
Can we know who the mystery witness is?
I intend that it will be G. Baker that we put on the list this morning.
Could you speak into the mic, please?
G. Baker, who arrested Quindarius Savory.
G. Baker, I think is what she's saying.
Yes. Yep.
And, okay, well, is there somebody else if that witness isn't available?
Yes. Probably. Let's see.
I mean, frankly, I'd rather that a witness get I don't want anybody inconvenienced, but I'd rather you have an extra witness here than we have an hour left with the jury, but nothing to fill their time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, anyway, well, so how much longer are you going to have with this witness?
Not an hour, about 30 minutes, maybe, not even that long.
30 minutes more with this witness?
Judge, 10, 15, I have about, I can count the questions for the court.
Okay, again, this is redirect.
It is. So these are.
I don't want you to count the questions. I just want you to stay focused. Do we have an answer to the question, how long the next witness is away?
No. No, Your Honor.
Okay, well, let's just continue with the redirect, and then there may or may not be any recross, and then we'll see if the witness is here yet, and they better be. Seriously, I know. Okay, so let's get the witness and get the jury.
Your Honor, before the jury is brought in, just really quickly, if I may, one of the things I wanted to I wanted to inquire of one of our investigators about their efforts to secure one of the witnesses and the difficulty that we have had with respect to that witness. I expect that that witness will be coming in. It's the one that we've been discussing, but I think it's pertinent information.
Not right now. And frankly, it doesn't matter if you have a particular witness. What you have been instructed is to have enough witnesses to fill the day.
Yes.
Okay, so if one witness is difficult, then you need to have another one lined up.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's get the jury, please. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Love.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Thorpe,
Yes, ma'am.
did you detail in your report an incident regarding Kenneth Copeland, his child's mother, and his child being shot at on February 19th, 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report the description of the vehicle that Kenneth Copeland said participated in that shooting?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report that after that shooting, you spoke with both Kenneth Copeland and his child's mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report that that happened on February 21st, 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report, you were asked regarding by Mr. Steele, you were asked about your questions to Kenneth Copeland and the gray Infinity or Maxima. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report whether or not you were looking for a Pontiac Bonneville around February 21st, 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report asking Kenneth Copeland about waiting so long to talk about the date of the homicide incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report him stating that he was not a snitch?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report that only after you talked to Kenneth Copeland did you begin to learn or investigate Jeffrey Williams' rental of that Hertz Infiniti?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report the information that you got from one witness that may or may not have been consistent with the information you got from another witness?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to object to this line of questioning under 403.
And Your Honor, my response is, when the question was asked about what he did not put in his report, I think it's important that that the jury is aware of what all he did put in his report.
Overruled.
Did you detail in your report who it was that was in the room with you at the time that you interviewed Quindarius Zachary?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report that you interviewed him on August 5th, 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report that you interviewed Diamante Kendricks on October 6th, 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report that the date that you spoke with Spencer Wright or Nicholas Robinson at the time was October 19th, 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report confronting Mr. Wright about giving a false name?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report taking Mr. Wright anywhere for him to show you particular places?
Yes, ma'am.
You were asked on cross-examination regarding the date that you took out warrants, and you said that it was October 20th, 2015. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report that you took those warrants out the day after you went with Spencer Wright to a certain location on
Yes.
October 19th, 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report what you observed when you arrived on scene on January 10th, 2015 at 21:15 hours?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report seeing yellow crime scene tape restricting pedestrian and vehicle traffic into the area?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report who you met with when you reported on scene?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report who escorted you through the scene and showed you tangible evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report being advised that Mr. Thomas Jr. had passed away from his injuries?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report the lighting on the streets of 330 McDaniel Street at the time you arrived?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report that the lighting did not require additional support lights for processing?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your reports that there were 3 different shell casings on the street, 3 different types of shell casings on the street?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report information that you got from the anonymous person about what may have led to the shooting?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report that you were going to have an autopsy conducted by the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you detail in your report the date of birth and address of each of the victims, including Reginald Hendricks and Cordarius Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
How many of the notepads or when you describe on cross-examination the notepad that you keep notes in through your investigations, what kind of notepad is that? Is that a big notebook like the one in front of me or a small one?
Small one, ma'am.
How many notepads have you kept throughout your time as a homicide investigator?
Relatively none. Once I get through transcribing all my notes over into my case file, I usually refurbish those notepads into working other scenes with other people when I'm not the lead.
How many notepads have you kept? Have you made over the years?
Made over the years, probably close to 200, 300.
You were asked about the things that you did not put in your report by on cross-examination. Is there anything that you left out, any other things that you left out of your report?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, I think that that's all that I have of this witness.
All right, thank you. Is there recross from anyone? Mr. Sharp, Mr. Steele.
May I please go?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Investigator Thorpe, first of all, I just want to clear this up. You spoke about interviewing Kelvin Watts in relation to the murder of Tiara Jones.
Yes.
Okay. And then Ms. Love asked you if that was the case you interviewed Mr. Stillwell about, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's be clear. You interviewed Mr. Stillwell as a victim in that case, correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. Okay. The Green Store, that is the location when Kenneth Copeland spoke to you that he claimed to be at. No, let me back up. Kenneth Copeland told you that he was not present at a murder, correct?
Correct.
He told you when you spoke to him in these interrogations that just prior to the murder,
Go ahead, sir.
in the interviews, just prior to the murder, his claim was he was at the Green Store.
Yes, I believe that was one, and he said he was in the bed.
Okay.
Also, he was at home in the bed.
And then went to the Green Store.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's the store that.
Object as to mischaracterization of information that has of the evidence.
That's absolutely not a mischaracterization. What time did he get out of bed?
I do not know.
Go ahead.
Okay. So after he got out of bed, according to him, he went to the Green Store.
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's the store that's a block and a half or 2 blocks away from where Mr. Thomas was shot.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then his story to you was after the shooting, he was at the McDonald's.
Yes, sir.
All right. over the last like 30 minutes or so, I'm not going to go through all of them. Ms. Love asked you about 75 different things that are in your report, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the bottom line is your report is thorough, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, your report includes you and Investigator Summer Benton going to the airport
Yes, sir.
to look for rental records in the name of Jeffrey Williams from Hertz Rental or from any rental car company at the airport.
Correct.
Okay? And the reality is, at that time, you did not find any records, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that was a negative, you received negative results.
Correct.
Okay, but despite the fact that you got negative results from the rental companies at the airport, you still put your efforts to find evidence in the report, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, going to the airport, looking for rental records, not finding them, made your report, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But going to the green store, looking for surveillance and not finding it, that didn't make your report.
Yes, sir.
Going to the McDonald's, looking for surveillance and not finding it, that didn't make the report.
Yes, sir.
Going to the convenience or going to the AutoZone or the auto parts store right next to the McDonald's and not filing surveillance, that didn't make the report.
Yes, sir.
Your testimony seems to be the only things that didn't make your report.
Your Honor, I object to the characterization of the testimony. The jury can hear what the testimony
You were just asked by Ms. Love if anything else didn't make the report, and you said no, correct?
Yes, sir.
So your testimony is the only 3 things that didn't make your report are going to the McDonald's, going to the green store, and going to the auto parts store looking for surveillance.
Yes, sir.
And we can't find your notes.
Correct, sir.
No further questions.
All right.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Your Honor, may I ask just one, based on what was just asked, may I ask just, okay.
Come on, Mr. Steele.